but you had a tremendous amount of lumber and timbers supporting them. They salvaged all of that. They tore down the sawmill. They didn't tear down the foundation of the sawmill, the brickwork and concrete work, until 1915. So this is about a 1930 aerial photo, and it shows the Frank Bryant bungalows. The store is gone, the company store is gone, because by 1924 or 25, Yankees decided that they shouldn't have sold that, and they wanted it to be part of their compound. They wanted a park-like area there. And so they made an offer that Axel Anderson couldn't refuse, apparently, and bought it back from Axel Anderson. And this, in the foreground here, is where the sawmill was. So Axel Anderson in 1925 built a new store and a residence on top and second floor. This picture is probably taken in the mid-30s. I haven't tried to date the cars, but it looks like this could be 35 to 38. So we're standing here on what was at that time Highway 51. If it's 38, by 38, 51 was moved over on a bypass that we currently use. But this was until 38. This was Highway 51 that went right by the gas pumps here. If you went to the left here, you'd go out the road that goes to Jacoby's, and if you went to the right, you'd be on the boat launch. So here's what it looks like. Well, this is a few years old, this picture, but a modern view of the building is still there. This is what was in front of the forwarding house after the sawmill closed. The Rummeries had a couple cottages, and they ran the resort there. And this is where the railroad tracks had run years prior. So there were 3 stages of traveling through Hazelhurst. When the sawmill buildings were here, you couldn't travel north-south on either this route or this route. It was all blocked off by the sawmill operation and tramways and buildings. So if you were coming to Minocqua in 1903, like the first automobile that came to Minocqua did, you would have to be coming up like this and taking this road all the way around and over to the railroad depot and then up this way onto the road to Minocqua. That's how you got around Hazelhurst. After the sawmill was torn out, then and that coincided with the creation of the state highway system. Sawmill shut down in 1911. In 1911, the state created the state highway system and named this road up to Minocqua, going to Minocqua, as Highway 10. But still, right in 1911, you still had to go around this way because there was still all the sawmill buildings here, and the foundation for the sawmill wasn't torn out of here yet. But by 1915, Lakeview Drive was built, and Highway 10 took this route through, I'm sorry, I missed a turn. So you started here and I want to go back. So that's the route of Highway 10 through Hazelhurst, starting as soon as the sawmill building was removed and they could build Lakeview Drive, until 1938, when this became the route. This picture actually, they may have started using that route by the end of 37. It wouldn't have been paved, but the bypass, the Hazelhurst bypass, one of the first bypasses up here, it was built in 37. This photo is November of 37, so it is already constructed. You can see there's nothing but fields along that route at that time, because the village is off to the east. So this shows that the old Highway 10, this aerial photo, went up like that. you know, where Adams generators are now, that's where it came out onto the current road. So this is a picture looking south on Lakeview, south on Highway 10, in probably about 1920. Here the Bryant bungalows are. Here is the boarding house. So the north-south, the main boarding house running north-south, and then the two wings that came out the back. You can see them here. Dusty road. There's a car in the distance right there, creating a lot of dust. This again is about 1920. So if you were driving a car up to Minocqua, as people did, in 1920, that's the kind of road you're driving on. Now this is looking in at that same location today. This would come out, and this road no longer goes through, it's blocked off. You can't go out that road and get on the current Highway 51. But this is Lakeview Drive looking south. The town park is here on the left. Then in that same location looking north, Lakeview Drive, the old Anderson store is here on the left. Boat launch to the right. Oneida Street going out to Jacoby's goes to the left there. And then this next picture, the vantage point is right here. We're going to stand, make a circle there. Vantage point is here. We're going to look east. That's this photo. And those are some of the remaining company houses. There were about 50 company houses, and they were up a short distance of Lakeview Drive and then out Yawkey Road going to the west. That's today's photo. Well, it's maybe 4 years ago. That's a current photo from that same location. And then if we want to stand here and look to the north, that's what it looks like today. Now this was the highway to Minocqua. This was Highway 10. And the school is off to the left. And then where the road curves here, there is old fat asphalt here, like here. That dates back to 1936. This was Highway 10. There. And that I don't know whose property I was trespassing on. Maybe somebody in this office. Maybe somebody who's here tonight would recognizes this spot. That I was trespassing to take this photo about 4 years ago. So maybe, I don't know if that asphalt is still there. That would date back to 36. Because by 38, this was no longer used. So that area that I just pictured is sometimes that area I just pictured is right here, and it went out. This is where Adams generator is, and it came out onto the road headed north to Minocqua. There's about a 1950 photo looking north on Highway 51 through Hazelhurst. Another one. So by 1950, of course, things started building up along the new highway. This is the road to Jacoby's. So you've seen that one before, looking at the highway bridge. So this bridge was built in probably about 1890, maybe about that time. It'd be hard to guess any closer than that. And this was the Wagon Bridge. This photo looks southeast. That bridge was not oriented north-south. It was oriented northwest to southeast. In fact, closer to east-west than to north-south. This is looking southeast down that bridge. On this photo, that bridge looks wider, but that definitely is the original Wagon Bridge, because the railroad tracks are still there, and those would have been gone after 1911. This looks to the northwest on that same wooden bridge. That's a view to the northwest, and about, this is after this became Highway 10, so it's after 1911. This is Highway 10. The sign says do not pass cars on bridge. They keep in center. And they should have a sign that says, don't lean on the railing. Because I'm sure you would have ended up in the water. So that's a rickety bridge, and amazingly, this bridge wasn't replaced until 1923. So until 1923, this was the main highway bridge heading up to Monarchwood, Hazelhurst. And this is looking to the southeast at that same bridge.
So Dan, you can see the intersection or the Y up there where
Yes.
here's a spur to the southwest or maybe straight south.
Yeah, well, there were some cottages here to the right, and that may have been a road, that was the road to go, to take Y, down to Garth Lake and beyond. Now here's the 1923 bridge. They built a steel bridge, built it alongside the old bridge. The posts are still there, and so, they offset the new bridge, which often is done. Surprisingly, this bridge is fairly narrow yet. I mean, it's certainly not more than 20 feet wide, maybe only be 16 or 18. It seems like you could barely fit two cars going through that bridge. So this is 1923, looking to the northwest. It goes up that hill. When you travel today on Highway 51, which now takes the route here, you can still see to the west side of 51, down close to the lake here and even farther up, you can see the old road bed, the old cut. Again, looking northwest on that 1923 bridge. This photo is looking south. Now we're back looking northwest on the 1923 bridge. This is about 1920, so if you're driving your car up here, I'm sorry, about 1925. If you're driving your car up here, it was still a gravel road. This road wasn't paved until 38. So you're still driving on a gravel road. This November of 37 photo shows the orientation of that 1923 bridge. And you can see that it's more east-west than it is north-south. And the red dots are the line that was the road that existed until 1938 when the new bridge was built. So if you were headed to down 51 up until 1938, you turned on Old Mill Road here, and then went down to what is currently D, and then went east a little bit to Lakewood Road, and then headed south on Lakewood. That was Highway 51. You came this way if you're taking Y out to the Garth Lake and Little Flowage area.
Dan, would you mind going back one slide there? I saw those stone pillars.
Yeah.
And I know where those are, but I didn't think they were on. This is looking northwest, correct?
Well, now they're on the east side of the road.
That's right.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
Now they're on the east side of the highway because of the repositioning of the highway. which
Right.
You'll see, but I think that went to the Scrobot property. He worked for Yawkey, and all this land was owned by Yawkey, and Yawkey agreed to sell him a cottage site here, right in Lake Catherine. And I think their driveway went through. And the family still owns that.
Right, that, yeah, that's my wife's
Somebody here from that family?
right, my wife's grandparents are the Strobots.
Oh.
And, yeah, that's very interesting. I think that's also what on those old topo maps says the wagon road.
That goes down, and remember when I asked you about the vintage of the topo map?
Yeah.
I've walked a lot of those trails in the woods that are now part of the Yawkey Forest Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I've gotta walk away from this and reconcile a little bit. It's there, you can see the wagon road there, actually, the thin line on the east side of the, what's called South